Hello everybody, Lance Martin with the Martin Group and eXp Realty. I am back for our August 2026 real estate market snapshot. I actually just shot the July snapshot, which covers the month of June. I'm now back on track for the first year in almost 4 years. I skipped a month, oh my God. But at any rate, today is August, I think it's the 10th or the 11th. We're shooting the August snapshot, covering July numbers. We'll be back on track moving forward. So new studio, new TV, new slide deck. Need to work on the lighting here a little bit, but we're working on it. So at any rate, please bear with us as we move forward, but the data is what it's all about. So for those of you that are here to see what's going on in the market, the data doesn't change. I'll work on the presentation and the lighting here a little bit as we move forward. So anyway, welcome to our August 2026 market snapshot. So as we move forward with same QR code that I've used for 4 or 5 years now, all of the snapshots are there. All of the market forecast data is there. By the way, we are working on scheduling our 2027 in-person real estate market forecast. We're going to be back on schedule. It'll be March of 2027, middle of the month somewhere. Honestly, I hope to be able to return back to Ito's place. That seems to be a nice little landing spot and a perfect place to present. It's such a beautiful facility. But anyway, the QR code is the same, so keep an eye on that QR code for all the presentations and all the rest of that. Again, we're doing the 4 counties as always: Riverside, San Bernardino, LA, and Orange County. So I've got a little key in here. It probably doesn't even show up very well on the TV, but for those of you that actually look at the deck that's down below on the link tree, you'll be able to take a look at the deck. So let's start off with median price. The trend basically is flat. So this is a 5-year trend. By the way, for those of you like, wait a minute, where's the 15-year trend that I've been doing for so often? When you click into the charts, you'll still see the 15-year trend. But you can just see the last couple of years is just flat. We've just been flat in pricing. That's good. We need flat. We need boring. So, you know, there's some downside that comes with that. But anyway, the pricing trend basically has been flat. If you look at the 4 counties that we track, 3 of the 4 counties are basically up in the green, with Orange County being a smidge down, 3% down, 3.7% in Orange County. But again, that's nothing to worry about. By the way, that is July to July. This is August. We always look 1 month back. So this is the July numbers. So Orange County is actually, did I say down? I meant to say up. Up 3.7%. San Bernardino up 3.7%. Actually, they're all up. You know what? I think I saw that little red dot next to Orange County. I thought, oh, red means negative. Anyway, pricing is all up in all 4 counties. Low single digits. And again, yeah, low single digits. I got to work out this a little bit better. I've got these numbers hidden behind me. Next month, I'll get the deck tuned in a little bit so I can stand in one spot and you guys can see the rest. But low single digit appreciation on all 4 counties from July to July. That's great. That's healthy. That's exactly what we want. If you are a buyer that was hoping to see property values crater or crash or foreclosures, all I can tell you is, you know, you can continue to hope for that. I just don't see that on the horizon. So if you are in a position to purchase and it's a home that you like in a neighborhood you like, and maybe there's a school district you're concerned about because that's where you want your kids to go, like I've been saying forever, just buy the house, get into the house. You know, it's better than rent. Rental appreciation is also been extremely tough. I was just talking to somebody this morning. You know, a 2-bedroom apartment in the city of Riverside right now, obviously they vary from place to place, but $2,800, you know, 10 years ago or less than pre-COVID, that was $1,800, which was still a lot. So at any rate, if you can afford to buy, don't wait for property values to come down. If the property is in an area you want and you can qualify for it, even though maybe interest rates are a little higher and the property value is a little higher than you want, I'm still recommending get out and buy if that's where you want to go. New listings. These are new listings that hit the market in the month of July. You can see the trend is down across the board. Fewer people putting their properties on the market in the month of July. And these numbers, unlike my pricing numbers, these numbers are all in the red. 18% fewer listings in Orange County, July to July, 13.5% in San Bernardino from July to July, and 12.5 and 12.1% fewer homes for sale in Los Angeles and Riverside County. So bottom line is fewer people bringing their property to market in July. That's actually a good thing. I don't like it, but it's a good thing. And it's a good thing because the sellers that are coming to the marketplace today realize this is not a marketplace to test. I think hey honey, let's try $890,000 when your realtor tells you it's worth 8.25. Or hey honey, let's try $1.6 million when your agent says it's worth 1.35. So those sellers, I think, have got a little bit of dose of reality and have kind of backed off. Having said that, there's few of them on the marketplace. So fewer new listings from July to July. The next number up is the active listings. And again, what you're going to see here is similar. Fewer active, these are all of the listings that are on the market. So for all of the reasons that I just said a minute ago, there's less homes for sale in the month of July compared to July 2020-25. And that's 14% in Orange, 18% fewer in San Bernardino, 13% in LA, and 23% fewer homes for sale. Again, not surprising, but part of one of my pain points over the last several years has been we've had fewer homes opening escrow, buyers and sellers getting together, fewer transactions. That's brutal. But again, it's also an acknowledgement for a lot of sellers that have said, hey, there are fewer transactions. So if I am going to be that homeowner that goes on the market to sell, I've got to be priced right, I got to be in good condition, et cetera, et cetera. And some of those sellers have just said, this isn't the market for me. This is not the type of market where if you list your property, frankly, even if you listed at market, don't expect to get 6, 10, 12, 15 offers over the weekend. Those days are behind us. Are they coming again? I don't know, but for now, they are behind us. Okay, month supply, just really quickly going through the month supply trend. It is down, it makes sense. Fewer listings, then there's a fewer month supply, even though this number is tied to buyer demand. But anyway, nevertheless, 3.3 months supply in Orange County, 4.7 in San Bernardino, 4 months supply in LA, and 3.8 months supply in Riverside County. All of those numbers are down month over month. But again, that's not necessarily a bad thing. We have fewer listings. If we had fewer listings and our month supply was exploding, that would mean we've got no buyers coming to connect with these sellers. That is not true. There's fewer transactions, but there's still plenty of buyers out there in the marketplace. So days on market, again, the days on market are still reasonable. You price your property properly and look at these. These are still below 30 days on market in most cases. So the buyer demand is there. So again, 16 days, 15 days, 28 days, and 22 days in San Bernardino. That's not a lot. So the days on market trend is nice. Closed sales. Now I added the closed sales category to the snapshot, I think 3-4 months ago. I previously was just doing pending transactions. So the closed sales, I thought, well, hey, let's take a look at actually what's closed escrow as opposed with the pendings. Those are open escrows, buyers and sellers coming together, trying to see what the difference was as far as the percent volume is concerned. But I was pretty happy with what I was seeing. So on the closed sales side, again, the trend is upward. You gotta like that. If you go ahead and take a look at from the year over year, the numbers are a little bit less, but low single digits. 2.7% fewer closed transactions in Orange County, 3.5 in San Bernardino, 2.6 and 6.1 in Los Angeles County. So even though they're negative, they're small, they're low single digits, I guess, with the exception of LA County at 6.1%. So I'm happy with this. Okay, we were seeing double-digit lower numbers on pending sales and closed transactions. So even though the market is softer, we're opening fewer escrows, we're closing fewer escrows. Low single digits I'll take, okay? I think there's some data out there that indicates that maybe we're kind of at the bottom of our real estate sales depression. And when I say sales, I'm just talking sales volume, the number of buyers and sellers coming together. I hope that's the case for selfish reasons. We pay our bills by putting buyers and sellers together and closing escrows. So even though these numbers are negative, they're pretty small. Now the pending sales numbers, and again, if you look at the chart, the pending sales are still, they're still so painful. So look at Orange County. Oh my gosh, the month of July, 50% fewer sales. Wow, I got to pause there for a second. 49.4% fewer sales in Orange County from July to July. That's dramatic, okay? Having said that, when I look at San Bernardino at 33% fewer sales, equally dramatic, but it doesn't shock me as much because we've been seeing 20, 25, 30% fewer buyers and sellers opening escrow, those pending sales. So that's not crazy. 33, even though it's a huge number and it just makes me want to cry. But the 40 to 49% in Orange County, my God, that's just a huge, huge number. 39% in Los Angeles, 27% in Riverside. So again, the 25, 27, 33% numbers don't necessarily alarm me, although I guess they should. But man, the 49% in Orange County, that's brutal. And quite honestly, call it 40% in LA. Oh boy, it's tough. And it kind of makes sense. You don't have to be a rocket science. I mean, I spend hours and days and years looking at this, but what the price point in Orange County, the price point in Los Angeles County, obviously higher than Riverside, San Bernardino. Well, those buyer and interest rates in the month of July jumped up. There was a lot of expectation with the appointment of Kevin Warsh, our new Fed secretary, who replaced Chairman Powell, that we were going to see interest rates drop, we were going to see cuts, we were going to see all this wonderful stuff. And then frankly, global politics got in the way in the form of Iran and all of those lovely things that we're dealing with on the economic side. And frankly, rates have not come down. There's actually been talk about increase in rates. So the consumer hears this, the consumer sees this, and at least in the month of July, they pulled back dramatically on new transactions. So pending sales down high double digits, and my God, almost 50% in Orange County. It's absolutely nuts. So getting back to the interest rates, 8.3% is basically what you're looking at approximately right now. Will you see different results? Of course you will. I don't know what your job is. I don't know what your down payment is. I don't know what your credit looks like. Can you get a better rate than 8.75? Yes, of course you can. Would you potentially get a quote higher than 7%? It's entirely possible, just dependent upon you. So if you need some help with that, reach out to our team. I can connect you with our lending team. By the way, we actually might have a new lending partner that we may be announcing here before our next snapshot or at our new next snapshot. In the meantime, however, I certainly can help you with lending. So we don't do loans ourselves, but we've got wonderful people that help us originate loans, and it doesn't cost you a nickel, 10 minutes on the phone, and whatever concerns you may have about your ability to qualify, you're either going to know, yes, I can, no, I can't, but it's not really never no, I can't. It's yes, you can buy today, or you can buy, you just can't buy today. You got to do these 5 things, and once you do those 5 things, you can buy 6 months from now or a year from now, or whatever it happens to be. So if you're a buyer and you're a little nervous about that, don't be nervous. 10 minutes on the phone, just talk to our lending partner, and you'll know exactly where you stand. So those are the interest rate things. So my 2026 market forecast is basically unchanged. It's just flat everything. Prices flat, inventory flat, rates flat. I might adjust that. Chris Thornburg was talking about an interest rate significantly north of 7% just a few months ago. At that time, this was kind of right before the Iran war started, but the trend was, if everybody who I was talking to said, no, we're going to see interest rates below 6%. Chris said, no, we're not. If you can get a 6.5% interest rate, take it, because we're going to more than likely see upward pressure on interest rates. Once again, he appears to be on the right side of that equation, which doesn't make me happy. I want him to be wrong, but nevertheless, I'm probably going to have to adjust my mortgage rate forecast on the upward side. It just feels like that's where we're headed. So basically, I'm just flat, and the one you can't really see behind me is sales volume. Again, not to be selfish, but I like prices stable, I like interest rates stable, I like inventory stable. But if I want to be selfish, I just want to sell more houses. I want my agents and my team to sell more houses. And I just don't see that happening in 2026. So we shall see. So again, we will continue to do our landlord tenant update. I attempted to rebrand this with this beautiful Cobalt Property Management logo. Get out your microscope or get a little closer. Next snapshot, we're going to work on the deck and make the branding a little bit cleaner. But again, with Cobalt Property Management, we're doing residential property management, multi-unit property management, homeowners association management, and we also do a little bit of commercial as well. So I'd love the opportunity for Drew and Drake and myself to help you in that regard. And then the same thing with homeowners association. You may have heard me talk about HOA management. We've actually done it for almost 40 years. It's hard to believe. But anyway, we can help you with that. And that also was done by this beautiful itty-bitty microscopic logo over here under Cobalt Property Management. So at any rate, that brings us to the end of our August 2026 real estate market snapshot. Again, new studio. We'll work on the lighting. We'll get the deck cleaned up here a little bit. But anyway, thank you for watching, and we will see you in September.